Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Brightworks. Today taking a look at a 2v2 on the brand new map, Faster Than Light. I believe this is modeled off of the video game by the same name, FTL, or Faster Than Light. And it's kind of got the layout of the ships that you would see in that game, very, very interesting. Today a 2v2 between our blue team, spawning here on the corner. I guess it's the southeast corner. The corners are it's a little bit of an odd definition. Not a very square map here. But anyway, spawning in the southeast corner, we do have Dub Hadara, the blue player here, and a very, very strong player. I believe they have a YouTube channel of their own, but definitely they've competed in a lot of the competitions and have put up some impressive numbers for themselves. Galileo is going to be the teammate for Dub Hadara. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Dub, D-U-B-H. Yeah, it's either Dub Hadara or the H is silent. It's just Dubdara, something like that. Anyway, Galileo in this nice brilliant green color and spawning on the upper platform here. There's two spawn locations for this 2v2 map, and so we have Galileo up here on this northern section. We can see the plans already for these players coming out. Players like Reshko, our red player here, spawning the upper position. The true skill leader, and thus the red player here for the red team, with my doppelganger, apparently, TNT 2000, who is a completely different player. This is not me. I suppose I must have just beaten them to the name TNT, and this was the next available iteration. TNT 0 through 1999 were taken already. Anyway, TNT 2000 going to be the yellow player here for the red team, and I'm excited to see what they go for here. Now, on this map, there is no wind power, no tidal, obviously. There's no water power, so it doesn't matter. Let's clear the map here, because I think we've got a gist of what they're planning to go for. And let's look at the builds that they're going for. So, solar panels are going to be the name of the game here, because, again, no wind power. So we do see these disgusting T1 solar panels brought out here, these horrendously inefficient metal-wise T1 solar panels brought out here. It is an unfortunate compromise for the fact that there is no wind power, and so we must see them. TNT 2000 going for a very early light laser turret, but this is a choke point, so I guess that's very nice. This map reminds me of StarCraft maps. I'm not sure if any of you are very familiar with StarCraft, but on the off chance that you are not, I will break down exactly what I mean by that. Typically in StarCraft, there's a bit of a convention when designing maps that basically states that you are supposed to always have a segment that allows a player to wall themselves in to their own base. A bit different in this map, of course, because we have the crawling units and we have the flying units and all that sort of stuff, which typically is a much more late game thing that you would have access to in StarCraft. But it does still sort of hold true. I mean, certainly you could wall off across this little segment here. You could build a nice little wall, and that would stop ticks or maybe light tanks, anything like that, from pushing through this area. So I guess I don't hate that too much. The TNT 2000 is going for these light laser turrets here. 2 might be overkill, but it's fairly small complaint on an otherwise grander scale. Power scaling is going to be very difficult. Power scaling. It sounds like I'm doing some sort of anime power scaling here. No, I mean, literally building up energy production is going to be difficult because the only place you can put your metal into are these horrible T1 solar panels here until you get these construction bots out and can actually start some advanced solar panels. I would not hate seeing 1 or 2 of these bots just start building, just like that. Start building some advanced solar panels just right off the bat. These will come up slowly, but that does mean that you're not going to be dumping a whole bunch of your resources into them right off the bat, which is quite nice. Galileo here going for an air lab. That's very nice. Maybe we'll see some early harassment with some light gunships. I think in 2v2s, light gunships can definitely be a viable play here. Going for a transport. Looks like maybe we're going to try and transport a commander, maybe a construction bot, something of that nature here. Transport has actually been built already, just has not been handed over. It looks like Dubdahara is waiting for this transport. Going to be some cheeky plays coming out here. But in the meantime, pushing forward with the commander to secure a metal extractor advantage. Reshko taking the northern half of this sort of split up area here. There's a bit more metal on this side, so I think this is probably the better place to take. There's also this 4 metal extractors up here. Let's check out the metal extractor value. Okay. So we can see that these are all 2.1, very even split, so that's very nice to see. That does mean that the entire map is equatorially important. Is that the right way to say that? Well, anyway, the entire map is important to control. There's not one really important section. You can imagine like one big metal extractor here or something. I don't know. Anyways, looks like TNT 2000 is going to expand southwesterly, and Reshko is going to expand northeasterly. Galileo, so this is what those transports are going to be used for. I mean, there's a numerous amount of uses for transports here. But definitely getting up here and getting these metal extractors is quite nice. It's actually going to offset the imbalance from Reshko getting all 4 of these metal extractors down here. So I quite like this, actually. Especially considering that there's no air player here, right? So definitely going to be uncontested, to say the least. Air transport pushing forward here by Dubdahara. Maybe we're going to see the commander moved around with it. Maybe we're going to see some bots moved around with it. I'm excited to see whatever we're going to be going for. Production is going to be very slow here for Galileo because, well, we don't have any construction turrets or anything, any construction bots, nothing. And that's sort of like, so I would love to see maybe Dubdahara give a construction unit to Galileo, our green player here, just so that construction stuff can start up sooner, but, you know, maybe they have a strategy. I did miss the chat there. I was too busy explaining, so I didn't catch what their overall strategy was. Maybe I'm unaware of exactly what they're playing here. Dubdahara using the transport to move the commander up this little step. I think that's a great idea here. Securing the high ground, and you know that we are big Obi-Wan fans here. Really supportive of that idea. Going for the high ground advantage is quite nice here. New base here wall. Yeah, I think that's probably not a bad idea. Centralize sort of your production. There's not a lot they could do to harass this. I mean, artillery pieces could probably shoot at the edges here, but as long as you build fairly centrally and keep this front line fairly contested, you're going to be in a very nice spot. Seeing some construction bots moved around here. Couple brought up to the front. Looks like we're moving our armies around now. I believe what we're trying to do here is shift towards giving Galileo the northern section of the map, the northeastern section of the map, kind of. Really is just the northern section, isn't it? And give Dubdahara the bottom section here. TNT 2000 using the commander to push forward here. Just building light laser turrets here and there. Very nice. These light laser turrets are going to be more than enough to shut down early production. A lot of these T1 solar panels are up, and we only have a single bot improving our economies here. Meanwhile, Reshko does have a couple of these advanced solar panels going up, which is quite nice. We're probably getting a nice amount of shared economy here. Yeah, so none of this is going to waste, of course. We're converting all of this to metal, which is quite nice. But yeah, we are slowly building our economies up, right? It's hard to put metal into these solar panels because it's so expensive, right? They cost 150 metal per solar panel, and you don't really have another choice here. If we look at this, yeah, almost 1,400 metal in solar panels. Yeah, that hurts. That definitely hurts. A little bit of a run by here. We see some pawns breaking through the front lines of Dubdahara's defenses. Moving forward, they're going to encounter a few light laser turrets. They ran past 2 there, which definitely scuffed up a lot of them. They encounter another one right here, and it manages to blast them down. There's a few still alive, but we are now switching to Exploiters, the armed metal extractor for the Cortex faction. And I think these pawns are going to be very unhappy when they run into the first one of these. Indeed, one of them won't even live to get a shot off. The second one will fall shortly afterwards. TNT 2000 has done an excellent job of making sure that this area is sequestered off from Dubdahara, though, so his forces can't actually meet up with the commander building the forward base up here. The alignment on this map is a little odd because the map and the building placement are sort of at a diagonals with each other, so that is a little bit interesting. It's the kind of thing that would drive me crazy, but I would also be happy to play on this map because I love these interesting little smaller maps. Less players, a little more intimate. You get to know your teammate a little better, have a nice little conversation. You know, you kill your enemy a little more intimately. I'm joking, of course, but there is some truth to it. Galileo decides to pull the commander back off the front lines up here. And yeah, we've well fortified this now. At this point, there's plenty of air defense. There's not really any laser defense, but I don't think that's a problem. It's not like any grunts are going to be able to walk up this side of the mountain anytime soon. I suppose we could airdrop a grunt in here if we got an air lab up and running, but of course we do not. So for now, these upper highland areas are going to be completely safe. This is interesting. Oh, you might notice I've turned on the flanking bonus here. So you can actually see where the units are vulnerable versus where they are not. And you can see that is entirely dependent on the plane on which they are being attacked. Plane. Anyway, you get what I'm saying. I'm looking for any lines that are being broken here. It looks like there is actually a bunch of aggravators here, aggravatingly tearing down these medium laser turrets, the twin guard here. I believe these can outrange the aggravators. 480 versus, I think it's like 475. Yep. Yeah, so they can just barely outrange the aggravators with one of their lasers. But it is not enough, really. Well, you get these construction workers plowing away at this, and it is actually going to be able to do quite a little bit of damage. Yeah, Twin Guard doing a good amount of work here. Running low on power, though, that is unfortunate. So the Guard is not actually able to fire at full capacity. And as well, these grunts are going to fall. So this army is now looking really strong here, pushing forward for Reshko, because all of that can, of course, be reclaimed. Yep, the commander moves in right away to eat all that delicious metal up. The Exploiter has 435 range, so that is not going to be able to outrange the Aggravator, meaning that this is going to become a problem very, very quickly here. You know what I would love to see? I would love to see a comm drop here that just ends up in the back line and just destroys all of this economy. I mean, we don't have the scout, right? We don't know exactly where these air defenses are, but it wouldn't be too bad to get a few scouting planes up. I'm sure we could make it happen. I think that would be really, really phenomenal. Up top here, we do have a single construction turret that has been placed down here. Another one over here as well, building a clickable radar jammer. Interesting. Galileo up here, meantime, focused on building another construction turret. It looks like we're basically at a build power shortage. It's kind of the vibe that I'm getting here. Riot tanks are working on breaking out of this, accompanied by a few of these lashers, the Cortex missile truck. Very good option for sieging these light laser turrets. It's just damage over time, as I've said before. They don't do very much damage at all. You can see every one of these shots is just, I mean, measly. But yeah, I mean, every time they fire, you get a little bit of value out of it, and they can just creep forward. They can always retreat back to the safety of these riot tanks, and there's not a whole lot of T1 units that can really stand up to much concentrated fire from these riot tanks. They are beasts. Thugs here, a little bit of trouble getting pushed in by some pawns. Some pawns from TNT 2000 and some grunts standing as fire support in the back, with the aggravators, of course, for long-range missile support. Thugs take down a lot of those pawns, though, so those are actually knocked out very nicely. At this point, the aggravators are in range of the thugs, and the thugs are starting to shell away at them, and that does hurt. No reason for these aggravators to stay within range, right? They can just fire from without of range of the thugs here, so I don't see why we'd keep those in range, if at all possible, but of course that does take quite a lot of micro. These tanks discover the wall of the wall of pounders here, and they are shut down rather quickly. These pounders have a little bit of impulse on their blast that stuns enemies a little bit so that they can no longer move when they're shot, and that effect only compounds when there is suddenly 5 of these pounders sitting in a row. Suddenly it becomes very, very devastating. We now have Wolverines on the field as well, so this position by TNT 2000 is suddenly falling under siege. Dub Dahar showing us his skills microing 2 battles at once. We have a transport here for some reason, but we also have these thugs walking back and forth, trying to walk into range of the aggravators, trying to walk out of range of the aggravators, trying to not stand still. Very, very difficult to micro both of these armies at the same exact time. And yeah, this is slowly slipping away here. Galileo's going to have to come in clutch if we're going to see any kind of progress made with this army. At this point, Reshko has a dominating lead here. You can see there's tons of metal that's available to eat up. Tons of metal back here as well. The commander is just pushing forward. Not a care in the world. D-Gun's the very last thug. And that is all of Blue's standing bot army. Now, there's plenty of vehicles back here. TNT 2000 looking pretty scuffed up here. Takes a shot from his own artillery. Yeah, 16%. Not looking good. If only we had a few missile trucks, we probably could have killed that commander there. We might have had them, but they might have just been destroyed here. But at this point, red is in the base. This is not good. Not good at all. We get the single Rocketeer down. I don't think it's going to be enough, though. Twin Guard starts up immediately. Yeah, 19 seconds. I don't think it's going to make it, though. And suddenly, Devondara is under a whole lot of pressure here. Galileo is going to have to do something very, very quickly. We have the bot lab out, but we're not producing anything. Well, not quick enough anyway. These construction turrets are too worried about repairing this drone. Oh, that hurts. Oh, yeah, that's a good 20 seconds or so of production. Not 20 seconds, maybe 10 seconds of production that definitely could have been in Galileo's favor. At this point, Reshko's commander has moved all the way forward into this base here. We can see anti-air turrets coming up every once in a while to make sure that this push does not fail. The main production is now fully switched to Depodara's little side facility over here. We did see a bunch of energy production come up. That's quite nice. So this is slowly going to be getting its value. Those Janices, making sure to fire their devastating rockets forward. Commander is looking to get the wraparound here. Oh, but those hurt. Yep, and the commander goes down. That it is to emphasize here that it did take out the entire production facility, of course. So as long as we can get some units out in time, I think this base might actually be able to push TNT 2000 backwards. That being said, Galileo's got units on his front door. What is the response going to be? We have Centurions out. Centurions and Rocketeers. We're working on some heavy laser turrets. I think that's probably a decent option here. Centurions trying their very damnedest to keep this whole thing alive. Rocketeers firing a lob of missiles out as fast as they can, trying to take down this heavy laser turret. Eventually, it looks like they will be able to, and the aggravators keep pushing forward. Galileo in quite a bit of trouble. Depodara says get out with the commander. It's probably a good idea here. Transport is queued up. It's going to pick up the commander. Ooh, but he's got anti-air turrets all around him, so yeah, this could look nasty. I guess we can just fly over the dead space, right? We could just fly out here into the emptiness. Fair bet that there's not going to be anything over there. Heavy laser turret has finally come up, and it's going to work down these aggravators very nicely. 1 or 2 blasts per aggravator. It's going to start chipping these away. And I don't think we have enough here to break the base, at least not with just these aggravators. Centurion pops out as well, and that's going to contribute... Oh, until it dies. Went down pretty quickly here. Light laser turret's doing a good job, and these construction turrets keeping this thing alive, yeah. So I think Galileo actually holds. Very nice. Galileo moving the commander around as well. Production facility for TNT 2000 also falls to a bunch of these missile trucks. The commander was not eaten up, which is very nice. That would have been a really, really huge advantage here for the red team, but it actually ended up not being the case. So yeah, very well done. Depodara making sure to deny the entire advantage for the red team. The advantage of killing that commander, that is. Another heavy laser turret comes up. Centurion is out. This other heavy laser turret is putting in work. Basically the only thing that can outrange these aggravators here. So it is, yeah, it's basically driving back this force. Reshko doesn't really have anything to push up this high ground here. Also, tons and tons of metal lying around on the floor here now. Suddenly, this has become a battlefield worth reclaiming. Yeah, I would absolutely love to see it. See Beholder thrown down? Yeah, why not? Give us a little bit of vision here. Rocketeers versus aggravators. I think I like the position here for the Rocketeers a little better just because of the high ground. Although there is much, much more army mass here for red. The static defenses can be quite overwhelming. Yeah, you can see those light laser turrets doing good work. The heavy laser turrets making sure to burn down these aggravators as quickly as they can here. 2 of them now, it's going to burn them down twice as quickly, but they're going to get way less than twice as much damage, or way less than half as much damage, I should say. Because with 2 laser turrets burning them down twice as quickly, that's going to be, exponentially less times that they're going to be able to fire. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, you can tally up the math and let me know down in the comments. Anyway, missile trucks desperately defending this commander wreckage over here as TNT 2000 starts up another bot lab, or another vehicle lab rather. We do still have a bot lab back here, pumping out a whole bunch of pawns. Very nicely done. Yeah, Galileo doing a nice job of not giving up an inch. We are holding on to this with everything we've got, making sure to use these constructors as well as we can. They are all looking really scuffed up. I would love to see a big mass order repair command. Jammers coming up, construction turrets coming up. All these bodies are within range of these construction turrets too, so we could definitely eat up some of those. I will send Urs, I think he means reses. You hold tight if you can. Sounds good. Sounds like a plan. Wow, artillery absolutely devastated that truck. Pounders are here, and they're the perfect counter to this pawn spam. Doing a lot of friendly fire, but at this point that's worth it. We really just need to mop up this army, and yeah, that is almost the entire army here for TNT 2000, completely removed from the map. Excellent hold here by Depodara. Galileo working on a metal storage here, probably thinking about basically just reclaiming rather everything that they can from this entire base. That might be the plan here. Just start reclaiming, relocate the entire force up to this little island, and it will be splendipitous. How about that word? There's a big one for you today. Aggravators going down to a couple of brutes. Another brutes move in. TNT 2000 in quite a bit of trouble here. Hold on, I learned a new camera control. I think it's... Is it this? No. This? No. This? No. Oh, well, I'll have to go fiddle with that again. There was a new camera control that let me swivel the camera around to figure out how I did that. So like this? No? Okay, I should stop messing with it, shouldn't I? A lot of pounders here with some Wolverines for artillery support. Very nicely done. It's going to shut down the reinforcements that were trailing in from the base, but Rushko has set up a bot lab very far forward, but probably not a bad idea here. Interesting construction turret placement right in front of the lab. Probably just a quick wave of the hand, but it actually ended up being pretty inconvenient. Oh, the grunts are thinking about pushing forward, but one shot from that laser cannon here, the Overwatch, and just to scare them back. I can understand. I'd be pretty terrified too. At this point, we do have some resbots out as well, which is quite nice. I see a resbot over here even, cleaning up most of this. TNT 2000 hiding the commander over here. That is quite funny. I don't think we have any way to see that. Yeah, radar vision ends right here. Oh, if only he could see a little bit further. Sending the resbots out to eat up the commander might be a good idea, but also resurrecting it wouldn't be terrible either. The grunts move in, but they are met by heavy laser turret fire. One grunt in a decent enough position here. It just found itself wedged in a little spot where it couldn't be harmed. Commander goes down. Some sort of, yeah, I think it was a self-destruct there in order to wipe away the lab, all the units here. But there's still tons of static defense, so I think still this is going to hold quite nicely. We're just going to eat up the commander as quickly as we can here. We get about 70% of it, or rather we get about 30% of it. There's still about 70% left on the ground there. And yeah, we do still have bots coming into this lab, so this is definitely still dangerous. But these riot tanks are pushing forward, and they're a great counter to these thugs. I mean, the thugs do pretty good against them, actually. You know, I spoke a little too soon there. Thugs doing a very good job against these riot tanks here. Although when you group them up, the riot tanks get tremendous value because of that AoE effect, right? So ultimately, a good and then a bad and then a good engagement. TNT 2000 giving away the units, just handing them on over. It's not a bad idea at all. Are we rezzing and reclaiming here? Or are we just reclaiming? Or just rezzing? Okay, we're just resurrecting. Wow, we've got quite a lot of advanced solar panels here. We do see a T2 transition also. Very nicely done. I would love to see this being used here. Yep, we have the T2 bot handed over. That's very nice. I'd love to see some upgrades. Yeah, very nicely done. I think I like to see that quite a bit. Now an army has snuck through again, and they're going to try and harass this base one more time. This is sort of a proxy, right? Like, there's not actually a whole lot here. The actual real heart of this whole operation is back here, although... now that I look at it, I will say basically all of the energy production is over here, so that's certainly something. Heavy laser turrets getting overwhelmed a little bit, but the light laser turrets are really, really good at mopping up these pawns, good against pawns, good at mopping up these pawns. You get what I'm trying to say here. Yeah, basically all those pawns get completely wiped away here, but the defenses are crumbling slowly. Some of these thugs have made it through. They discover a hidden jammer. They're gonna be quick to disable it. More light laser turrets coming up all over the place. I think we're just holding out as long as we can here. Counterattack. Pushing forward. I quite like to see it. We're testing the grounds here, but we're about to discover that those were not medium bots. Or no, those were not medium shots from medium bots. Those were T2 Hounds, and they are scary. Yep, the Hounds realize, wait a minute, we could beat you. And it's now when the blue team realizes that, yeah, yellow has not been fast asleep. Yellow has been hard at work, teching up very nicely. And I'd love to see some of these units redirected around this way, start killing some of this economy, although there's a lot of these metal extractors that actually were never claimed by Reshko. That kind of explains why the advantage was not so in the favor of the red team this whole time. The air lab here went down to a follow-up attack, but a lot of this energy production here is still up and running, and I think that's definitely what's keeping this blue team in the game. We should probably see... Are we doing a tech switch here? Yeah, I guess we're transitioning to an air lab, which is nice to see. There were some more grunts that were trying to move in here, but those got shut down as well. And we're continually rebuilding defenses, so very nicely done. Excellent crisis management here. You can see just how dynamic these games get all of a sudden. They go from very, very clear-cut and well-defined to just a mess. Complete mess. But yeah, I love to see it. Now we have some grunts moving forward here. Grunts accompanying some brutes. And they are going to start taking down these construction turrets, which is quite nice. This whole facility is basically unpowered at this point. A little bit of production here on this bot lab with the aggravators coming out of it. But yeah, we've already got the res bots moving in to reclaim, well, not reclaim, actually, resurrect this entire army. That's quite nice. These res bots over here are just more interested in eating up the metal. But the green ones are very interested in folding this all back into the army. Very nicely done. Green is almost dead. Yeah, Reshko says that, but I don't think he realizes how far it is from the truth. Green actually holding on with a substantial economy. The metal extractors are unpowered. Yeah, it looks like we don't have any metal extraction happening. We're just relying on energy converters at the moment. But it seems to be doing well for what it's worth. We do have a commander lying on the floor here. Will the resbots eat it, or will they reclaim it? Resurrect it? Looks like it will be brought back to life. Interesting. That's going to turn this to a 3 versus 1. Quite nice. The Hounds move forward. Uh-oh, this is a big problem. These Hounds have met at the front gates here, and there is not a great option. We are going for the Shuriken. This is always a panicked maneuver. If you see the Shuriken come out, especially late into the game, if it's not a first plan of the game, a plan A type of plan, then you know that this is definitely a little bit of a desperation move here. Shuriken doing a good job of paralyzing these units and reducing the effectiveness of this army, but I think they need to spread their targeting around a little bit here. Yeah, doing pretty good though. This army's effective value is basically cut in half at this point. At this point, Yellow decides to pull back, but it's already too late. Too many of these Hounds have been Shuriken down, and they've become dead meat. Being said, I've definitely seen more inspirational micro, but at the very least, it's... Oh, yeah, it's hurting. Now, I completely missed it over here, but some recluses broke into the back line of this base, climbed right up the side of the wall. Excellent strategic decision-making there for the red team, getting some of these rocket spiders, these all-terrain rocket spiders into the back lines here. Oh, they take down a commander, too. Yikes, that hurts. That blows apart almost all of the central production here for the blue and the green player. However, green's base back here is looking very nice. Depadara now given this commander over here. Given, or it was either given or it was just resurrected under his build power, so I'm not sure which one it was. But either we're going to be rebuilding on this side, as now these Hounds have pretty much full reign to conquer this area. Conquer they do indeed. You can see they move forward, easily dismantling what little remains of this base, and so the position has to be abandoned. At the same time, the army has swept through from the right-hand side and denied all of this control here. And so now a bunch of T1 medium tanks are moving forward and ravaging these T2 metal extractors for Reshko. These are actually the only T2 metal extractors that he had out on the field, not his own ones back here. So actually the metal economy is taking quite a hit here, yeah. Going from, well, I'm not sure what he was at, but he's down to 11 at this point. Yikes, that hurts. A single recluse has also walked up this lane and denied a bunch of this economy that was up on this hill. That hurts pretty bad. Those all-terrain spiders can be quite a pain, that's for sure. I'd love to see some resbots here in the middle of the map as well. This is quite a thick field, whether we eat it up or whether we reclaim it, or resurrect it, whatever we choose to do. I think it would be a good idea to get something done with it. A lot of units coming out here, but we don't have tech. We're moving into T2 here, but I think we need to fund it with a bunch of reclaim from the front line. This whole arm, this is just a skeleton army. You can see every single unit in this army right now is just made of old units. They're all resurrected. They've all got that little halo on their head, which is pretty funny. Yeah, I mean, if these hounds are just going to stand here, they're definitely going to take some damage. So I suppose this trade is probably worth it just to get this army off the field. Plus, you can always send the resbots back in here and pick up anything that's left over. Anything that doesn't die to your own artillery. Surprisingly easy take back there of this hill for the green team. Oh, it must have been because Dubdahara made a conjoined effort to push into this base as well and ravage Yellow's economy as well as their EPM, taxing them to the brim, making sure that they couldn't focus on microing those hounds. Very good strike effort, joint effort there by both of these players. As yeah, the entire production facility for Yellow suddenly turns on its head. The Resbots move in, and we are going to be resurrecting these hounds. That is quite nice. We're going to have a standing army, a nice little standing army here that is suddenly going to be very powerful. We're also resurrecting in the middle of the field, eating up a whole lot of our energy reserves, but that's basically just trading energy for units, right? And at this point, we're trying to tech up anyway, so we might as well get rid of some of that spare energy that's just lying around while we were eating up at our own metal reserves. Very, very nicely done. Dubhadar is still rebuilding, making sure to send a commander around, try and find ways to be useful here. What's the plan? Looks like we're just going to fly this commander somewhere in this direction. Now, I did see some rocket spiders moving around the side here. These could definitely be quite a pain. Take a look at what these can see as of yet. Find some energy converters back here. Take the shot. If they find this commander and manage to actually shoot it down, that would be super painful. This thing is parked right next to all this production, and it would be a really big shame if it managed to explode and take all that with it. Now, luckily, these rocket spiders not very good at tracking anything that moves, but they're excellent at tracking things that stand still. Yeah, I've got to say, you got to move the commander. You can outbase those, so you can definitely just charge at those, but you have to zigzag a little bit. Got to crosshatch. Gotta do a what is it called? Catty corner. I'm not a sailor. Don't know too well the sailing terms, but I think that's the right word. Hounds are refolded back into this army, and actually we're starting up a T2 vehicle lab on a forward offensive here. Do either of these teams know about the other one's presence? Nope, TNT 2000 certainly does not, and neither does Galileo, so both teams blissfully ignorant of the massive amount of units that are over here. Maybe the commander cannot outpace a rocket spider. I might be completely wrong about that now that I think about it. Now that I see it, rather. Interesting to know. One of those little mechanics that you wouldn't know about until you saw it in a game. Bit of a standstill here. Galileo's commander has been resurrected in the middle of the map here. Yeah, very nicely done. These Resbots are absolutely keeping the blue team in the game here. Tons of these units, these resurrected soldiers, these undead army men here, handed over to Dubhadara. He said he can micro. I think that's a great idea here. Yeah, we're looking at basically Dubhadara is rebuilding from the ground, so we might as well give them some units, let them micro their hearts out. All of these are just trashers, little anti-air bots anyway, so there's not really much that they're going to, not much of a fight that they're going to put up here. Where did those hounds go? They were also part of this army. That's important. Those hounds are definitely the key to winning this engagement here, because we are going to see T2 unit production back up and running for TNT 2000. Now, this is a glaring weak point, right? This entire northern section. I would love to see some of these rocket spiders maybe resurrected if any of them have gone down. Actually, I don't see any corpses, so maybe not. We do have the T2 bot lab of our own, though, so we definitely could see some rocket spider production going on, and I would love to see that. Maybe move them around the northern section here and attack the bases over on this side. That'd be quite nice. It looks like the T2 production is found over here. And indeed, our resurrected hounds, our undead hounds, our hellhounds. I'm going to use that as the title of this video. I think that sounds great. Our hellhounds have found the base over here. And they're going to start shelling down. Yep, they get it pretty easily here. All these constructors now under siege. T2 constructor will likely go with them. And the commander is left to hide. Now, how have they not pieced together that there clearly must be something over here? Like, that something must have been causing that. Oh, there's a weird little visual glitch on the what is that called? The bot lab there. Interesting. What's our plan for dealing with this bull that's riding right up our little ramp here? Heavy laser turret's pretty good, I guess. A couple percent chipped off every single time. Yeah, it's not great, but it's better than nothing, I suppose. We will burn this down eventually. Does go down. Gets a advanced construction bot for its efforts. Not terrible. Probably could have been better, though. Resbot's just bringing this whole army back and forth. We're just throwing it back and forth in each other's face. That is so funny. I wonder if there's a maximum amount of times a unit can be resurrected, right? Like, does a unit that's dead and then it dies again, can it be put back together again? Surely. I mean, these units certainly have. They were blue at one point. Now they're red. They weren't captured. They were rebuilt. We can rebuild him. Stronger. Better than ever before. Looks like the rocket spider here was finally brought down. It went in for another attack here, but Galileo was ready. He knew those tricks. He wasn't going to play them. He wasn't going to play the games anyway. Now this is spicy. Dubadar is saying, give me a comm. I need to drop in their base. Very nice. Very, very good idea here. Yeah, probably not a bad idea at all. All that air defense was along this side over here. There's more in the center of this map, but you could certainly just send one into this dead space up north and then around into the back of the base, and it would definitely work out very well. We could also see commandos dropped back there. Any sort of radar-proof unit. Now this is tons and tons of grunts moving forward here. And they're easily going to kill this commander, I think. Excellent D-guns, though. Making sure to get his value's worth. Wow, that's a weird commando position here. Interesting. Devadar saying, okay, it's rough game now. It is a rough game indeed. Devadar doesn't really have the rebuild here. We're still relying on this big advanced solar array to provide power to both players. But Devadar is overflowing on resources. We don't have build power, really. Yeah, I think some of these constructors need to start working on more build power. Oh, the resbots are sent to their graves. That hurts to see. These are still exploiters. They're hidden underneath this camouflage of advanced metal extractors. But they are exploiters. That's pretty satisfying, all those parts getting thrown into the abyss. Depadar calling the resign, saying it's safe to resign now. It looks like they are going to go for it. Oh, Galileo says no. We will triumph. We will prevail. I like that spirit. Depadar says sorry, bro. I think Depadar has been APM taxed out. At this point, there's no more clicks left in his body. Heavy laser turrets putting in work. Melting down these grunts as well as they can. For what it's worth, they melt them pretty good. Hounds are much better, though. They will get flashed down by these green beams of death, eventually. This is going to take a minute, though. The T1 tanks are moving in. We have the thugs and the rocketeers for fire support. Thugs and rocketeers in the same composition. What is this? This unholy fusion. But I think the economies have just outscaled the blue team. Really, really impressive stuff. Holding on there much longer. Definitely had a bit of a comeback there. Lost a bit of a comeback there. Really unfortunate to see. Yeah, I couldn't even really pinpoint what went wrong exactly, other than the fact that they lost this hill up here. There was that really big army that pushed in from the south, but they didn't ever actually manage to destroy this base. They just disabled it for a little while. As soon as this was back up and running, I think the economy built up once again. And yeah, I think eventually the numbers just tipped in the favor of the red team here, more or less. TNT 2000's commander existed down here for basically the entire match, And I think if a single radar had been built over there and detected that commander, this game would have looked completely differently. For the longest part there, they just had one commander, so I think they definitely could have sniped it, and that really, really would have been a nice way to steal the match back into their favor. But at the moment, Galileo is at quite a bit of risk here. Commander goes down, and that is going to be our red team winning today's match on Faster Than Light. That was an exciting game. I do love these 2v2s. They get into the action so quick, and they just don't let up. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this game. I know I sure did. Feel free to leave a like down there if you'd like to encourage YouTube to spread my wonderful content all over the entire internet. And I will see you in the next video.